Because as you can see right here, boom, that's exactly what I wanted to show you guys. If the first roll is bad, the other rolls will most likely also be bad. So you can usually tell by the first roll if the piece will roll good or bad, which is huge, which saves you so much gold. What's up guys and welcome. Today I want to talk with you guys in depth about gearing, everything gearing from A to C and beyond. From stat prioritization for each character type, being it DPS, defender or a healer, to how to level up gear appropriately to save a lot of gold through doing small tricks that you can use. And also lastly, on how you should transition your gearing strategy and level up strategy depending on where you are in the game, being it early game, mid game or late game. Especially in mid game, there is a lot of gold to be saved. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get right into the stats and what you should prioritize on carries at first. So for carries, as you can see, you should prioritize usually attack bonus as the main stat. Reason for that is simple. In this game, the defense damage reduction applies on full attack. So the multiplier from crit damage comes in after the defense reduction of the enemy. So basically, attack is better to get pierce through defense. The more attack you have, the easier you will pierce through defense, and then afterwards the crit damage is next up, right? So you should go for attack percent if possible. And what you should also do is not just all in on attack, right? Because if you do the maths and if you do overload just one side of attack and you don't have any crit rate, not any crit damage whatsoever, you just have attack, then let's say you have 4,633 attack, just like my comet here, plus you have, let's say, another 10,000 attack, and then you get another 60% attack right here. That 60% attack bonus won't be 60% attack. What do I mean by that? That 60% attack bonus scales off the base attack. So basically, let's actually put the base attack of Comet to 5,000, so it's easier to do the maths in the head. So basically, if he has 5,000 attack, 10,000 bonus, and you give him 60% attack bonus against, he will receive another 3,000 attack, which will result in not 60% attack bonus, but let me make the calculation real quick. So you had 15k before, now you have 18k, right? Which then would result in only a 20% gain in attack in total, because you already had more than 5,000 HP. If you only have 5,000 attack and then add 60%, then it's exactly this 60%. But if you have 10,000 and add 3,000, it's only 30%. So it's already half of the value you get. You shouldn't overload it. You should try to balance it out. And after that, the next stat that you want to prioritize is crit rate. Because like I said, attack over crit damage in this game because of the defense scaling, how it works. Next up, you want to focus on crit rate and then on crit damage. And last priority will be on attack speed, because the attack speed scaling, just like the attack scaling, does not scale so well if you go too far beyond, right? All the scalings don't basically, but if you go too far beyond attack speed, the scaling is not that high. Let's say you reduced it by 0.5 seconds with 100 attack, then with another 100 attack speed, you will only reduce it by another 0.3 or 0.2 seconds, the attack speed, and it will get lower and lower. So attack speed last, crit rate second, crit damage third, and attack damage first. But of course, if you're in the mid to late game transition, like I am, when you try to get to clearing these stage 19 gear rates, then you want to start balancing out this gear, right? You don't want just all attack, you want some crit rate, some crit damage. As you can see, I have attack bonus, I have crit damage here, and attack bonus against. Because if I don't have crit damage here, I will have barely any crit damage and I will overload the attack, without having any crit damage, which will result in me having less damage. Now, if you want to go in depth on the damage calculation and see exactly how much damage you would do with certain sets, certain stats and everything, I would recommend you guys go to MaBucket's website. He actually now implemented a damage calculator where you can actually calculate the damage that you do. I will put the link into the description, and make sure if you're not already following MaBucket, follow him, like he's such a good creator for this game, right? Now, last but not least, as you saw, here I switched it up. I have some crit damage. And if you go take a look at my second best gear unit, here as well, I have some crit rate, attack bonus, and crit damage. So I was able to balance out these three attributes, right? I was able to get enough crit rate, and I was able to balance out the crit damage and attack damage percentage. As you can see, I have a bit less than let's say 120% on attack boost, and I have 140% on crit damage. So I have a bit more crit damage because I just have one piece of attack, right? But the thing is, I just didn't have the attack bonus stats to make the crit damage and crit rate work. If you're absolutely late game, you want to go for triple attack bonus right here with insane substats on crit rate and crit damage. That's the way to go for DPS. But before, you want to balance it out, and mainly if you try to evaluate, should I get more attack or more crit damage, go for attack. Now, as for healers, guys, there's a few things that you need to consider. First up, if they scale on HP or attack, then you want to get these main stats right here somewhere, right? HP bonus right here and healing effect right here, because I have some good healing effect pieces that give me some more HP percent. What you want to do is you go, for example, a vortex who scales on HP, build as much HP as you can, and healing effect, you want around 100 and more healing effect. Once you get to 100 and more healing effect, the scaling of the healing effect won't be that strong anymore. So 100 is fine. If you go above it, don't go way above it. As you can see, I have no unit built at 200 healing effect because it's just not worth it. If you're at that point, you want to go into HP or attack, depending on the way your unit works, right? Also, what you need to consider when building healers, other than a damaging healer like Lightlock, healers cannot crit, so crit rate and crit damage is useless. Don't build it on healers. As for the substats that you want to prioritize on healers, it really depends on the healer and the situation itself. Sometimes your healer needs to be a bit more tanky, so you get some more HP in there. Some healers need their ultimates faster up, so you want to get some rage regen, and some attack speed can help, but like I said, attack speed, don't take it as your priority. I think getting your healer a bit more tanky, getting some rage regen is also a good way after you got your main stuff done, after you focused on your main stats being the healing effect and the HP, or for attack scaling healers, the attack. As for tanks, it's pretty simple. HP over defense. That's the most important stat. HP over defense. HP is more valuable than defense in this game. And on top of that, what you should do is actually, if you can, sometimes it's okay to sacrifice a bit of stats to get the Guardian set on your tanks. Because the Guardian set gives you this 15% damage taken. That's huge. That's huge. It is so valuable. So try to get that set, and if you don't have to sacrifice too many stats, if you have to sacrifice too many stats, then don't get it. But usually you really want to get that set onto your tanks and focus on HP. And also some tanks, as their secondary stats, work quite well with rage regen. For example, a Baron, when he can get his ultimate up more often, like he's gonna be shielded so much more, right? So again, here rage regen can help as well. Now that we all know what stats you need to prioritize on each unit, we gotta know what gear you actually should level up and what gear you should leave in the dumpster. And for that, I want to show you guys some different gear that I have leveled. And we also will do a live example of gear that I have not leveled. So the first thing that I want to show you guys is this piece right here. As you can see, it rolled insane crit rate. And if the first roll rolls well, I'd say above 3 or at least close to 3 bars, then it's okay to level up that piece of gear. Because the first roll already tells you in what direction a piece of gear goes. If you take a look here, this piece here only has 1.5 blocks, right? And which means it won't ever reach 4 blocks on the next stats. It won't. Let's take a look. Boom. 2 blocks. That's not good enough. That's way not good enough. That's why I did stop gearing it. That's why I stopped leveling up. You don't even need to level up to level 8 or level 12 to see if a gear is good. You can already see if a gear is strong at level 4 of the first roll. Because as you can see right here, boom, that's exactly what I wanted to show you guys. If the first roll is bad, the other rolls will most likely also be bad. So you can usually tell by the first roll if the piece will roll good or bad, which is huge, which saves you so much gold. So usually if one gear rolls well on the first roll, it will roll well on the second roll. So that is something that you should consider when you're transitioning into the later stages of the game and starting to gear up your units. Now let's get into what gear you want to level up and how far you want to level it up, depending on where you are at in the game. And for that we need to go into the gear rates real quick, and so we can make a general assumption on what is early game, mid game and late game. So early game is what I consider everything up until you start farming myth gear. So up here, this is all early game. And what you want to do at this point is not farm gear often, just farm if you need it to progress in the story. If you're stuck in campaign, get some better gear, get it to level 12 with some decent substats. They don't have to be the right ones. The main focus, what you want at this point, is get the right main stat. Get the right main stat. You don't even need to care about substats that much. Get the right main stat, level it up to level 12 and progress. Early game is pretty simple. Just don't do much gear rates. Then mid game is what I call up until, I'd say, stage 16, stage 17, right? So you farm myth gear but also legendary gear. And at this point you want to have either gear leveled up that is legendary, that has 2 valuable substats. As you can see here, crit rate and attack bonus, 2 valuable substats. I took it to level 12. And on top of that, it is on the left hand side, it's the sword and the chest piece, which means them being not myth gear doesn't matter that much, because their main stat doesn't matter that much. What matters more on these pieces is actually their substats, and sometimes you will get some good substats already in legendary gear, and that's why I have him in legendary gear. And I also have him in matching set piece, because it's easy to get on the left hand side a matching set piece, and that's what you actually want to start doing in the mid game. You get a matching set piece on the left side because it's easy. You only need 2 pieces, plus on top of that you don't have different main stats, so you will always have the right main stat already. All you need to do is get good substats and get the right piece of gear for only 2 pieces, so it's a lot easier there to get the set bonuses equipped. What you also want to do in the mid game is don't take your gear to level 16. Don't. You get some basic gear with 1 great sub roll or maybe 2 decent substat rolls, and you take it to level 12. That's it. Because if you level gear from level 12 to level 16, it will make your pockets suffer. It will make your pockets empty. Getting it from level 12 to level 16 can cost over 500,000 gold, and it's just not worth if you're doing it. Now if you want to get already to the late game, if you're about to reach stage 18 of the gear rates, you want to progress to stage 18 for the mid to late game transition, then you want to get your gear to level 16, even if it's not that good, even if it's just decent, you want to get it to level 16. As you can see, this piece, it just had the right main stat for me and not much else going for me, but I got it to level 16 back then because it helped me progress Sometimes, especially in the mid game, you need to compensate, especially if you don't have the right units. You need to compensate. Sometimes you can't be as efficient as you want, and that's why I took pieces like this to level 16 in the mid game so I could progress. But now, once you're at the stage 18 of these gear rates and you're starting to progress from mid into late game transition, you're going from mid to late transition, you want to get picky. You need to get picky. This is also a point, this is probably the point where you can save most of your money, because you need to get picky with your gear. And as you can see here, look at this piece. Of course, it's an ancient piece, so it has insane sub rolls. But as you can see, it has good substats. This one, good substats as well. It has 3 valuable substats, a good main stat, and decent roll. Actually, quite good rolls, I'd say. This piece here, I took up here because it has just insane crit rate roll, and I need a crit rate. I just need a crit rate, and that's why I took it. And also, what you have to do in the mid to late game transition, you have to match these set bonuses, and you have to try, if possible, at least one unit, at least get one unit to have a matching set on the right hand side, as you can see. And it's most likely going to be the Glacier set, because the Glacier set drops a lot at stage 18, gear rate 2, and gear rate 2 for most people will be easier than gear rate 3. So the Glacier set, try to build a unit with the Glacier set. What I can already tell you guys, the unit that profits the most, of course, or one of the units, are Deimos or Abomination, because it will give you damage based on your HP. Abomination's kit gives you extra damage based on your HP, and Abomination just has insane HP. Deimos' kit gives you damage based on his HP, and Abomination's kit just has insane HP, base HP, which makes it really beneficial for him as well. But in the end, even though I have Abomination, I put this on Arrogance because he is more key for me. And if I use Abomination in some content where he's better than Arrogance, and I feel like if I give Abomination this set, I can beat it, then I swap it out and then swap it back later. That's just some small things that you can do, right? And what you also want to do is start, especially in the mid to late game, like I said, just level it up to level 4 and see how far it goes. As you can see, this is the piece I wanted to show you guys at the beginning, actually. Look at this. It is the perfect piece. It's the perfect piece. But look at the first roll. From the first roll, I can already tell this piece is not going to be it. This piece will roll badly. I'm not going to take it any further. Because let's take a look. Let's take a look at the second roll. I can guarantee you it's going to be bad too. It's never going to reach 3 tiles. See, 2 tiles. I'm even willing to take it even further. It's never going to reach 3 tiles. Let's see it again. From the first sub roll, you can already see what's going on here. It had so much potential, right? But I already knew at level 4, and I kept it for this video out there. Boom! Another. As you can see, it's that simple, really. It's that simple. It's just, yeah, that's something important. And one thing that you should be picky about in the mid to late game transition is you should at least get 2 good substats. Before it was 1 good substat, now you want 2 good substats with decent to good rolls. What I call good rolls is 3 and more tiles. What I call decent is 2 tiles and more tiles. Everything below is just whack. As for late game players who already beat stage 19 of the gear rates, all I can say is that the strongest DPS gear is gonna be dropped in gear rate 3. So if you're able to beat gear rate 3, even if you don't have a hot suit, which is gonna be quite hard, but if you're able to beat gear rate 3 and gear rate 2, focus on gear rate 3. You have the better set pieces there. And for late game, of course, you want to get even pickier than me, right? You want to have at least 2 extremely good rolls, like 2 extremely good substat rolls, or 3 earn substat roles with at least one good one and two decent ones, right? You want to get even more picky than from mid to late game transition. But that's it. That's about how you should level up gear, how you can save a lot of gold, what gear you should level up, what stats you should focus on, and. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. I will come back to it and answer them. I'm Ronaldo. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.